We are going to talk all about the convenient lie. But first, Angela, why don't you just do a short intro of you in case people don't know who you are?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Angella Johnson. I'm based out of Utah in the United States. And so I've been in business for almost 10 years, and my genius is marketing, messaging, and live events and creating great money hosting live events, being your genius. And I've been a certified facilitator since last August and love the Access Tools. I was introduced to Access Tools in January of 2013. No, 2015, sorry. So just celebrating my 3-year anniversary with playing in the magical possibilities of Pod Poc and what's heavy light and really creating a life that I truly didn't know was possible. I had always, quote, hoped, and I always really knew that there was something else possible. Yet it was so confusing when I looked around most people I knew that they weren't creating the magic that I had. Like I just knew, like it's like I refused to believe that magic wasn't possible. And so I'm really happy to be in this world, and also so happy to be playing with you today, Glenyce.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming. So we have myself, of course, Glenyce Hughes, in case anybody isn't familiar. I'm also a certified facilitator with Access and have been since 2012. And just kind of like Angela, I just always knew there had to be more possible, and I searched and I searched and I searched and I searched for years, and then found the tools of access consciousness in just randomly found a radio show, and that started to change my life. So I am so grateful to be here, so grateful to be
Mm.
chatting with Angela, and hello to all of you that I've missed your hellos and good mornings and all of that, so thank you for joining us. And basically how this conversation got to be started was one of the things that Angela and I noticed with so many people, ourselves included, is that we can use the tools of access consciousness against us. So we can go into the light and the heavy. However you read your awareness, we often talk about it from light and heavy, but it might be more from a knowing. And we'll often say something is heavy without actually looking at what is actually heavy.
Mhm.
So we really trip ourselves up because we automatically go to, maybe we're asking about going to a certain class, or we're asking about going on a certain trip or doing something specific. And of course, my questions with those sorts of choices are: truth, if I choose this, what will the planet be like in 5 years? And truth, if I don't choose this, what will the planet be like in 5 years? And then two
Mhm.
other ones that I use fairly often are: truth, if I choose this right now, will it create the future that I desire? Or truth, if I
Mhm.
choose this right now, will it decay the future I desire? So there's,
Mhm.
a couple different ways you can ask questions like that. And people will often go, oh, well, I got that it's heavy. And this is where Angela's brilliance came up with this convenient lie. So,
Mhm.
Angela, will you
Mhm.
speak to that?
Yeah, well, because been teaching the tools, and I've been teaching about, if you want to call it intuition, awareness for over a decade. And I'm the kind of person where I instantly know, like I just have this gut sense. I've had it, I mean, ever since I can remember. Like I just know if something's expansive or contractive. Yeah, so when I started playing with these tools, I was really twisting myself all up in all sorts of drama with trying to choose the right thing. Like what's light sometimes is not convenient. And what's light will actually bring up all your shit. Because when you choose something that will actually create the future that you desire, then everything that you've chosen, and this is just my experience and how I'm wording it, like everything that I've chosen to that point that is actually not congruent with that choice gets louder. And I'm like, oh, see, it's like it's not maybe the right choice, And so, and then the other thing that I was noticing I was doing is I was choosing what was light, and then so confused when something would be hard. I'm like, this I chose what's light. Like I know that this is going to generate and create something. so why is this hard or difficult or challenging? And so then I would second guess myself, and I would like, well, maybe I really don't know what's heavy or light, and maybe I'm just completely crazy. And then that's where, and I kept seeing this pattern not only with myself, but it was really loud with other people. But I saw that, especially like in the coaching world and business world, like that's where we put our authority outside of ourselves. Then we look for someone else to tell us what to do. And then that's when, and you can start seeing that spinning happening. And it's like, well, wait a second. What does that actually create? To give your power away, so to speak. It's like, well, what truth? What is heavy and light? And then also just looking at, is it light or is it heavy, or are all my points of view about it heavy? And so I've been really in this space in the last several weeks since we started talking about this of like, I've got to ask better questions. And just that question that you said earlier of truth, if I choose this, will this create the future that I desire? Or if I choose this, will this decay the future that I desire? And really taking a look at it, especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs. This can go with hiring people, events to attend, where to speak, podcasts to do. Like every decision you make is like really asking a question rather than operating from this formula of, well, my coach told me that if I want to be, a six-figure business owner, then I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to do this. And that's when we start pretzeling ourselves, bending, twisting ourselves, cutting parts of ourselves off to fit in someone else's formula. And we haven't really asked the questions, and just not even just the question of how it's heavy and light, but ask them other questions.
Yeah. I remember years ago, and this was when I probably was just my first year studying the tools, and there was a couple, like a man and a woman couple, that were playing with the tools as a couple, and they made this really long post on Facebook, and I was so intrigued by it. And as we're talking, I'm reminded of that, because they had asked some questions about going on this retreat, and it was heavy, and so most people would stop there. Oh, it's heavy, so it's a no. But they challenged themselves to go, okay, well, what part is heavy? So they went into kind of each piece. So is it the travel there? Is it the accommodations? Is it the this? Is it the food? Is it like they pieced it all apart? And maybe that's a bit extreme, but I received so much from their post. And what they got was the accommodations. So then all they needed to do was phone up to the place they were staying and ask some questions of the people where they would be staying to find out more about the accommodations. And they found out what the way it was set up wouldn't work for them. So they had just asked for some special whatever they needed. And the people who were having the retreat were able to bring it in for them. And then it was light. And it was just like, so how many times have we went, oh my gosh, well, that's heavy. So then it's a no, but it's like for them, all it was just a simple phone call. And then often like, probably the thing that I see the most with people in my classes and sessions and such is that the heavy is, like you said, Angela, it's points of view. Like it's the points of view that don't match. So if you're going to go, on a 6-week, mountain hike, if you've got points of view about your body being able to do that, it will probably, your awareness will not come through. You will read your points of view. So it's going to give you a heavy. And so what I often tell people to do is check in. So let's say you ask a question about this 6-month or 6-week mountain hike and it's heavy. You could ask, truth, is it heavy from my points of view? Truth, is it heavy from my awareness? So just because you get a heavy doesn't mean that it's heavy, doesn't mean it's a no. It just means ask more questions, please.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and let's look at this, with business, because I've looked at, like it's super light to go to a class, for example. And I'm just like, I perceive the future it creates by being in that room. And then where it gets heavy, and this is, a lot more in my past, and every once in a while this still shows up, where it gets heavy is trusting my ability to create the money to go to the class. So the class itself is light. And we see this, people, oh, it's so light. And then people use, and I've done it, like, it's just so heavy, I'm just not going to go. And it's like, well, is the class what's heavy? Is what you'll actually have to choose after you have this awareness? Or is it like the awareness of, wow, maybe your relationships are currently not congruent with what you're choosing by, and I'm just using a class as an example. And I just saw myself getting looped back into, oh, it's heavy, but it was like, no, what was actually heavy were all my points of view of how hard I would have to work to make the money, that I would get my hopes up once again and it wouldn't happen, or like whatever the drama, trauma stories that I've done in my past. It's like, well, wow, what would I choose if I trusted myself? What would I choose if I trusted the universe? What would I choose if I trusted money? What would I choose? And so those are some of the questions that I play with, and it helps me to see where I've stuck myself with something that's heavy when it's not actually heavy. It's my point of view, a judgment of myself that that's what's heavy. And just, I want to just go back to, like, for those of you, if you're not familiar with heavy light, this is like one of the basic tools in Access of when you really guide your life with what's light and choosing what's light. It's expansive, and possibility living. And what's heavy is there's always a lie attached. There's always, well, yeah, there's always a lie attached. I'll just leave it at that. Do you want to explain that any differently, Glenyce, just in case people aren't totally clear with what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think you did a great job. I mean, it's the tool that are the I don't know if it's not really a tool, but the way that I often talk about it with people who aren't familiar is to just right now, all of you, even if you guys have been using the light and heavy tool from or your awareness from Access, just play with me right now. And if you can, just close your eyes. And then I'm going to make two different statements, and I just want you to be aware of whatever shows up with each one. So just close your eyes, be present with your body. Truth, your body likes to drink paint thinner. Truth, your body likes to drink water. And so what that will gift you is the sense of how you're reading your awareness right now. And so paint thinner, obviously, your body will never say yes to that. So even if it did, please know it's not a yes. I am going to override that awareness for you right now. Do not drink paint thinner. But it gives you, it's a strong enough no for most people that it's a really loud where like it just feels like really icky, or like there's just a no in their universe, or it feels really concrete or dense. And then the likes to drink water. Notice that I didn't say your body wants to drink water right now, because that can read as a no sometimes also. Your body doesn't want to be constantly drinking water. So it's like just your body likes to drink water. So that's just kind of a general statement that will give you a lighter. And then that's how you're reading your awareness in that 10 seconds. So that's the other piece with how you read your awareness is, especially once you start, it changes. So it might look different down the road. So even all these years later, I still use those two questions. My body likes to drink paint thinner, my body likes to drink water, before I ask some questions, because it shows me how I'm reading my awareness right now. And it just helps to really clarify it for me. To look at, in terms of, I think I've lost Angela, like in terms of light and heavy, like check in with that heavy. And of course, check in with the light too. It's not just the one way, but be willing to ask more questions. Because how often do we buy the lie that, oh, it was that right now? Like let's say you're going to go on a trip and you're looking at airlines, like which airline to go with. And you go into, you're looking on the internet and you find, Air Canada and WestJet. Those are two that are here in Canada. And so you're looking at them and you don't want to be like, which one to buy my ticket from. You want to know actually when to buy your ticket. So you want to be asking all the time. With that piece of looking at that, what you want to do is ask a question that's valid right now. So it's like, truth, would booking my flight right now create more, create the future I desire, or decay the future I desire? Because you're interested right now. Because otherwise you're looking way too far in the future. Even tomorrow is way too far in the future for your awareness. So if let's say you got heavy to not do it right now, most people would go into, well, oh my gosh, then I'm not supposed to go on the trip. And it's like, no, what if tomorrow's a seat sale? I got an email from WestJet this morning. They were doing a 50% off sale. So what if that heavy is more that your question also isn't what's relevant right now? If you're looking at, say, quitting your job and then going to work, start your own business, you don't want to be asking, quitting my job. You don't want to be asking about that if you're not going to take action on quitting your job today. So you want to be asking on the days that you're ready to put in your resignation, those are the days. Truth, if I quit my job today, what will the planet be like in 5 years? And truth, if I don't quit my job today, what will the planet be like in 5 years? And if it's lighter not to quit, it doesn't mean you always have to stay there. All it means is that that day is not the day. Because maybe maybe next week is when you get a huge bonus and then you can quit after that. It's really about staying in the question now, like really being present with now and asking the questions that are relevant now and continuing to ask questions. Stay in the question and check in. Is it heavy based on points of view? Heck, is it light based on points of view? Because it can go either way. Yeah. So Angela and I have put together a little clearing loop, and it's using some of the new processes from Access, which is like the whose lies, what lies, and how many lies are you using to create the lack of trusting your awareness you are choosing, stuff like that. So Angela is going to put the link to go and get that loop, and we each have another resource on your reading your awareness also in that. So when you just go to the link, you just need to put your I can't even remember what's in there, just to sign up, and then you'll get an email right away with the resource from each of us, the clearings written out, and also the loop. I recorded it just last night, so you guys could have something, because it's something that so many people talk about, where they really would like to change how they read their awareness, or maybe they don't feel they can read their awareness at all, or be aware or trust their awareness. So the clearings, again, are the newer ones from Access, and just a short little loop just to gift you, to really, really assist you to exponentialize what you know. And even though you may not think you know, you do know, and this will help you. So you guys are so welcome. So grateful that you guys hopped on with us, and I'm sorry the technical difficulties, but at least Angela got on for a while. So thank you guys.